just like that. Welcome back, my favorite group of hoopaholics. Welcome back to your favorite hoop show on the internet. Welcome back to JumpBall, and let's get right back into it. I know I slacked off maybe a day or two, kind of being a little bit later on the videos, but it is a glorious day. We are still here, and so is Words Basketball back within, let's say, about like 20 minutes is the TV scheduled, time. Another 15 minutes for the actual broadcast and the actual game to start. So we're looking at about, less than 45 minutes till tip-off against this Portland Trail Blazers coming down to the Bay today. But, let's get back. Let's look back in the rearview mirror for the week that was. Actually, let me reel it back even farther. Welcome back to anybody that is new. I am your boy. I am your host, your boy, King, back with some hoop talk today. If you don't know, now you know. This is a primarily dub podcast. We do cover other teams once the playoffs is here. We are going to dive into other teams once it is kind of shortened out to about 10 teams on each conference. But for now, regular season booms on. First off, talk about the regular season. Let's kick off with how the March month started. It did start with a loss, unfortunately, against the 76ers, where Jimmy Butler did not play. Let's get that back. But guess who did play? Guess who did come out? Guess who did wake up? It was Quentin Grimes, who you may ask. Well, another one of Dallas's regrets, mistakes, possibly. He's been to Detroit. He's been in New York. He's been around on the Eastern Conference front between a lot of teams. Has kind of found himself a nice little home, at least until the end of this season, because the Sixers are a mess with injuries. But he came out. He showed out. He kind of came up out of nowhere, just like Lonnie Walker had, who's on that roster as well. Shout out Lonnie Walker for that play-in win for the Lakers, unfortunately, against my Dubs. But we move on. Warriors at the Hornets. Personally, I thought this was what showed the true character of this team, what the Dubs have transformed into since the Jimmy Butler trade, and what they have become. They just grinded it out, gritted it out, even till the end of third quarter. Could that game have gone the Hornets' way? Possibly, but in the fourth quarter, they fought tooth and nail. When it was time to get down and dirty, they did. And when both teams don't want to win and one team kind of wills their way into winning, that's what kind of shows the characteristics of a champion, because those are the type of wins that you are going to need to have in the playoffs. When it is game 4, it's hard for both teams, but one team has to come out on top. And if you don't lose your will and you say, no, I am the one coming out on top, that is how champions are made. Because everybody has talent in the NBA. That is for a fact. Moving on, we move out to Madison Square Garden, where Steph Curry is 12-1 after this win for the Dubs. Jimmy Butler did his thing. Mr. Chef Curry, the way he had gone the week previous leading up to it, I thought he would break the 4,000 record there. Unfortunately, he did not. But that record is coming. More records are happening. But the record of, just losing one game at MSG, greatest showman on earth. But we move on, because y'all just gonna call me a Glazer. But let's keep it moving. Warriors and Nets, Mecca of basketball, New York City. What's up? What happened? Both teams, at this point we are 3-1 after this win. It was a close win. I'm not gonna get too ahead of myself. Nets came out of play. It was not an easy game by any stretch of the imagination. It was actually another very hard, tough game. They only have a bunch of wins, so coming out, seeing one of the GOATs in a LeBron or a Steph Curry, they know a little bit more eyes are on that product. So guys came out of play, and hats off to the Nets player. But it was a 10-point game. It was pretty much over. A double-digit game with 3 seconds left. And then the whistles started happening. And Cam Thomas might have hit a 3 or 2, but the whistles started happening. And that 10-point lead, a double-digit gap, kind of turned into a 2-point win. Guess what? We still came out with those wins. That is what matters. These are the wins that we were struggling to hold on to, struggling to keep afloat in the earlier parts of the season. Now we're finding a little bit more consistency with them. We're actually, getting over the little humps and getting those little defensive possessions or offensive possessions where it needs to happen for you to come out with those wins, the very, very minuscule ones. And then the Pistons at the Warriors. What a game that was. Only a 5-point win, but what a way for Saturday. Like, if you really like basketball, like, you cannot complain about that game. A really good game down south in LA, I do believe, as well, between the Lakers and the Celtics, but it wasn't close. I'm pretty sure, Cade Cunningham versus Steph Curry was a game, if you go back and look at, it was a game that was a lot better than, the other games to go watch. That's just a personal preference. You go back and be your own judge. But all that being said, Warriors, Draymond Green with that dagger 3, boom. But the person or some of the people that I do want to highlight right now, and most importantly for this season, primarily and at number 1 position, Moses Moody. Just got your back. 3 years, $33 million, let's say, right? But guess what? You showed why you deserve that bag, and probably a lot more. Maybe need a double dip, once that happens. Hopefully not this offseason, but possibly next offseason, you might start looking into that contract and looking around. That's just because I love you as, as a person you are, as the professional you have been, and as the player that you have shown to become with your development, Mo. Love what you have become, getting down on the floor, the defensive possessions, the 7-foot wingspan, whatever you want to get into it, the timely threes. It doesn't have to fall all the time, but when you get those threes, when you need them, make them timely. You've kind of been transforming yourself into that Iggy type of role. The ball handling will come. He didn't get to it early in his career either. You have a lot of more development to go through in your career. You're still a very young guy, but shout out to you, Mo. Just keep balling. Just keep being the hooper that you are. Just keep doing you. Another one, Pods. Since coming back from those nagging injuries, whether it was a face mask, whatever it was, you just been balling, bro. Shout out to you, SCU, Bronco. Shout out to anybody from, well, you're from Wisconsin, but kind of, made your little hay out here in the Bay. So shout out to you as well. And then, while I might not have been the biggest fan early, I did congratulate him on his draft night. But Quentin Post, what a pickup you have been for a second-round rookie to give us the minutes that you have, the impact that you've had. Talk about the threes again, the threes that you have given us, but at moments, even though being a rookie, the size that you have provided us, it has been immeasurable. I just named 3 young guys. Like, I don't even need to name the OGs. We're still 36 and 28, 6th in the West, coming out from literally the bottom where we're 10th, 11th, fighting right there. See what type of team we're going to be. As Steph said earlier in the season, as the kids say, we were very mid. But the trade happened. A belief has came back. I think nobody has talked about this, but since the championship in 2022, I think Draymond Green has had to suppress himself, suppress the person he is, the animal that he is, and the player that he is, in part of that, whether it's going through therapy, whether it's getting called out from other players across the league by media constantly, because Warriors sell views, but amongst all of that, I think he had lost a little bit of that actual Draymond Green fire. Like, you're gonna toe that gray line, but you're not gonna go to the dark side, and you're not a saint either, or you're not an angel either, but you were on that line, and that's what we loved about you. But like, people pressed you so much that you kind of went to that angel side to kind of correct yourself. But Jimmy Butler came back. I think it started with Anthony Melton, the preseason that you guys had. The energy was kind of back. The vibe of the team was back. Draymond was kind of getting back to feeling himself. And then boom goes the Anthony Melton injury. Shout out to the bro. Hopefully his recovery is going well. I believe he might still be with the Nets. If not, wherever you are, once a Warrior, always a Warrior. Shout out to you. We'll see what happens. Next win against the Blazers today, then the Kings and the Knicks. We will have a surprise for you guys very soon. But till then, catch y'all. Peace.